Hello and welcome to the International Pentagon Challenge. My name is Kyanite and together we'll be embarking on a very special Football Manager journey where we'll aim to try and win every major international competition in all 5 continents, forcing our hand to play with hundreds of different types of players and most importantly hopefully create loads of awesome different types of tactics along the way. Once that's complete, only then are we allowed to set our sights on the biggest of all goals, the FIFA World Cup. How many nations will we have to manage until we work our way to the top? How many dodgy names will we have to pronounce along the way? So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to episode 36 of the International Pentagon Challenge. If you've just come across this video, you should not be watching from episode 36. You should go all the way back to episode 1 and see the madness unfold. But if you are a loyal viewer, thanks for being a loyal viewer, and I can't believe this episode is going to be our first FIFA World Cup group stage draw, and like not as a kind of small nation but as England. Unbelievable, like how far we've come in just such a short period of time. Amazing. So the main reason why I kind of thought to make this an episode on its own is because even though the group stage draw itself won't take that long, I think we'll try and take some time aside towards taking a look at the opposition we have in our group, taking a look at some of their plays and kind of trying to, you know, just understand what the situation kind of looks like in general. We should be seeded, or rather one of the top seeds, and that's shown by the fact that we are in the first pot. So let's hope we get Canada in our group and Scotland. they would certainly be relatively easy. So Canada obviously in Group A, Argentina Group B. We've been placed in Group C, which is interesting. Obviously we won't get one of the big teams like your Brazils, your Frances and whatnot because we are one of the teams that are seeded first. Interesting to see Germany actually a second seed along with Spain. We've got Tunisia in our group, which, to be fair, I am more than happy with. I know we've had problems against Tunisia in the past, but wow, look at Group F. France and Germany in the same group. That is massive. Nigeria in Group A. Romania Group B. Oh, the Czech Republic. Wait, what? The Czech Republic? Oh, did they qualify by finishing second? They must have done. So we get the Czech Republic, who we know we can already beat, right? We know we can already beat. We've not got Scotland, unfortunately. We're going to get Chile instead. I don't think Chile have a certain Alexis Sanchez to cause us problems, but as we know, Chile are one of them nations as well that always have decent regens. Now, Group A seems unbelievably weak to me. Canada, Nigeria, Scotland and South Korea. Like, with all due respect to them nations, what kind of World Cup group is that? It looks more like an ice hockey group or something. I don't know. I think I say ice hockey just because Canada are in there. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, that. But I don't know if it's Canada's first ever World Cup. But fair play for hosting it. It's, at least the weather's going to be all right. We're not going to, you know, be able to fry eggs on the pitch like we would do in Qatar. So I think first group, Nigeria and South Korea should come out of that one strong. Even though I really, really hope Scotland make it past, you know, this first stage. Argentina and Holland should really walk Group B. I think both us and Chile, to be fair, Chile or the Czech Republic is a very difficult one to kind of predict. But yeah, I think we should be able to top our group. I mean, Chile's going to be difficult. Do they have Alexis Sanchez? I don't think they will do. No, they've got an Eric Nunez, who's probably on par with Alexis Sanchez, to be fair. We'll take a look at Chile in more detail in a second. But look, our group could have been a lot harder. Group D looks alright. Brazil should walk that one, and it's going to be tight for second place, but you'd expect Russia to take it. But Egypt, again, kind of, they don't have Mohamed Salah, but they're kind of one of them countries that always have good regens on the game as well. Here's an interesting fact for you. Kahraba actually means, like, electricity in Arabic. Like, certain Egyptian players have the weirdest footballing nicknames. Like, you've got Kahraba, even though his name isn't actually like Kahraba. It's Mahmoud Abdul Mun'im. Like, what's your name? I'm Ronaldinho. I'm Ronaldo. What's your name? I'm Electricity. Right? I think it's meant to mean that he's like an electric player, but it kind of backfired that. It's kind of similar to when we had that player in Egypt under 21s with the surname of Nedved, Karim Nedved. But his surname isn't Nedved, but it's just some weird nickname he's developed over time. So, okay, Group E should really be Poland and Spain. Group F, France, Germany. But just look at this. Look at what a group this is. France, Germany, Japan, who are like probably one of the best, if not the best, Asian footballing nation, and Mexico, who are a very good footballing nation as well. What a group that's going to be. Group G, China. I don't understand how China have qualified for the World Cup. Like, we beat China, I'm pretty sure, as North Korea manager. But yeah, fair play to the Chinese. I think Italy and Uruguay should really sneak out of that group, but the US always get good regens, so I'm not really sure about that. Turkey have managed to qualify. Just goes to show I was talking out my backside in the last episode. I didn't realise that teams that finished second could qualify, so my bad for that. So I'm glad to see Turkey have also qualified for the World Cup, because they were very, very close if they didn't really get overtook by Spain. And they beat Spain, obviously, one of the games. Saudi Arabia weren't doing too well in their qualifiers. It actually looked like the United Arab Emirates could have maybe pulled it off, but I guess they just about managed to squeeze through in the end. Serbian manager for them. That's going to be a very tough group. So you'd expect probably Portugal and Turkey, but that's kind of second place, providing Portugal do all right, which they should do with the quality of their players. That should really be Portugal topping that group, but it could easily be Colombia, Saudi or Turkey to finish second place. Very, very difficult. Probably Colombia or Turkey, but if Saudi Arabia can pull off a bit of an upset, that would be interesting as well. So let's take a closer look at the teams that we've kind of got in our group. I'm not going to bother taking a look at the Czech Republic. All we really, well, we know a lot about them already. You know, with Patrick Schick up front, he seems to have got himself a transfer to Arsenal. He's definitely a handful, but again, Czech Republic drew 1-1 against them and then beat them 2-0 at Wembley. So I feel like we should be able to do all right in Canada. The only thing I kind of hate is the fact that this guy always slags me off in the press. So I don't really hate it. It just means it gives me more of an incentive to whoop his ass in the World Cup. Chile. So let's take a look at them. Tactically, it looks like a bit of a 4-2-3-1. They've got Hugo Vilches as manager. I'm not quite sure who that is. Direct 4-2-3-1, probably more of a counter-attacking side. They are obviously a team that rely a lot on pace in real life, and that'll probably be the case because of how accurate regen types of players are. They've got Eric Nunez up front, who plays for Inter Milan. Started his career at Union La Calera, then got a big transfer. Not a big transfer in the sense of transfer fee, but a big transfer because Colo, obviously one of the biggest teams, if not the biggest team in Chile, I think. Yep, they are the biggest team in Chile. So big move for him. And it was really 2024 when he got 18 goals in 28 appearances, where Inter Milan they then came sniffing by. And as we can see, he's been able to carry on that decent form at a good level in the form of Serie A. Continentally as well, he is also putting goals past goalkeepers, as most goal scorers tend to do. I'm not quite sure why I said that. So yeah, Eric Nunez definitely going to be a handful, especially if we play with a high line. Very, very, very tidy player. Yeah, he's going to be difficult to play against. Enzo Rocco, real life player, 33 years old. Looks very good defensively. But at 33, you've got to admit that he's in very, very good shape. Worryingly good shape. To still have 13 to 16 acceleration and 11 to 14 pace as a centre-back at 33 really is good. Very good heading, marking, tackling, you know, at that 15 threshold. And obviously, pre-World Cup, I'm going to make sure my scouts are all over these guys, scouting them, because against teams like this, any kind of weakness will be something we'd be looking to exploit. Paulo Diaz, 31 years old in real life, currently plays for San Lorenzo in Argentina, now plays for Leicester, even though they had a brief stint in the Championship, it seems. Very, very pacey player, however, plays centre-back. So, yeah, looks like a quality player. But again, a lot of players look a lot better than they are when you kind of have 12 to 15, 12 to 16, 13 to 17. You know what I mean? Like, it could look very, very different. But without a shadow of a doubt, very, very good technical player. Maybe kind of scenario up against these very fast strikers, defenders, we'd have to adapt our game style, you know, to be more crossing orientated, to try and take advantage, for example, here, 11 jump in reach, because these kind of like smaller defenders who tend to be really, really pacey tend to not be as good in the air, for example. Or, you know, if that doesn't work, we could actually end up utilising, if we take him to the World Cup, that is Pete Rig Dix, 19 acceleration, 17 pace, you know, who's a bit of a Michael Owen, gives us something else up front. So it's going to be very, very interesting once we get a little bit more information on some of these players. Gabriel Suazo, doesn't look as good as some of the others. Looks relatively average, to be honest. More as a ball-winning midfielder. 13 passing, which explains why he could potentially also be a deep-lying playmaker. But now we've got a lad who plays for Shandong in Branco Provoste. Not a bad player. You know, we've got good players. They have good players as well. They could easily finish top of the group as opposed to us. I'm not quite sure how he's got one aggression. He's probably never picked up a yellow card in his life, which seemed relatively evident down here. It'd be funny if you just had one random red card. But yeah, Chile, going to be a very, very, very difficult game. I'm not going to look at them in more detail, but yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. But we should be able to come out on top, especially, like I said, once we've got a bit more scouting data on them. Next up, Tunisia. I'm not going to look at the Czech Republic. And these guys should be a little bit easier. So let's actually take a look at what their qualification looked like. So they slipped up against Angola and Guinea, but, you know, still managed wins in the right places. Didn't have the best... Actually, they played very, very poorly in the African Cup of Nations, but somehow still got through, and then went on a mad one and won the goddamn thing. So fair play to them. They've got Larry Azuni, 31 years old. Don't know much about him, so again, we are going to have to scout him out. But I'm always happy when I see kind of more experienced elder players being a nation's better players, because it tends to mean that their regens aren't as strong as some of their pre-existing players. And at this point in the game, like, regens play much more of a significant factor. Gailen Shalali, like, I mean, I know they speak Arabic in Tunisia, and I can speak it, but, like, I can't even read these names. Like, what? That's... I'm pretty sure that's not an Arabic name. That's the French colonialism kicking in, I think. So, okay, looks like an alright player for centre-back, but again, this is what I mean, where we need to scout players a little bit better. So, 14 heading is very, very different to 19 heading. You know what I mean? And little things like that can honestly affect how we end up setting up tactically. Idris Mehersi, 31 years old. A lot of their better players really are of the older type. 2 to 7 strength. Yeah. Lewis Cook will have him in his back pocket. Khalid bin Brahim, regen, 22 years old, looks an absolute gem, potentially, this guy. And this is why I'm going to really stop looking at Tunisia, because I think this episode has kind of run its course for now. I don't want to start jumping to conclusions when I don't have specific details on these players. So I did bring in a few more scouts that I didn't really discuss a few episodes ago, and I'm not going to discuss them. Actually, you know what? I will do. Younis Bengaloun, French lad. And one of the main reasons why I brought him in is because he has a lot of kind of knowledge about obscure nations like Morocco, Senegal and whatnot. So if one of them had actually reached the World Cup, we'd have had more information on them. Unfortunately, that's backfired. So an easy thing I could do now is just maybe bring in 1 or 2 scouts who, like, one scout that's Tunisian and one scout that is Chilean, if I have room for them. And I'd probably immediately have, like, loads of data on the teams. But if there is no room to bring in scouts, then I'll probably just get my scouts to scout them. So we have some information on them. And then once we have kind of like a full-on information on those nations, try and send our scouts, you know, to look at some of the more important teams we could face in the latter stages of the World Cup. Make sure we got information on Argentina. Like, to be fair, for countries like Argentina, it's easy because, like, you've got Icardi, who plays for Arsenal, so we have a lot of information about him. We've got Dybala, who plays for Man City, so we have all the information about him. He looks an absolute gem. Yeah, so, yeah. We're in the World Cup. Next episode, I guess, will either be a friendly game that you guys requested in the last episode, if I can manage to actually organise that friendly, because obviously you can't just organise a friendly, like the other nation might not be available. Otherwise, I am pretty sure it will end up being, you know, our group stage game. So I think the games, have they been scheduled? They have. So we're playing the Czech Republic first, and then Chile, and then Tunisia. So I would have ideally liked Tunisia first, because that would have been an easy game. You know, just to get the lads in a positive mindset. But hey, we should be able to beat the Czech Republic. Chile will be a tough game, but we should be able to beat them as well. And then Tunisia should hopefully be that kind of insurance policy in case we get a draw against Chile to guarantee a win in that final game, where Chile might slip up against the Czech Republic. Because I've said this before, the Czech Republic did really, really well to get second place against us, and they look like a very, very good side defensively. So, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Guys, we're going to the World Cup in the next episode. If I can't get a friendly sorted, thanks for watching.